The moment they called me dead weight, I didn't even flinch, even though something inside me definitely cracked a little. It was supposed to be a casual dinner with my girlfriend Maya and her close friends at a loud downtown restaurant where everything felt louder than it needed to be. The music, the laughter, even the judgment in their eyes. And I had gotten used to their small jokes over time. The kind that pretend to be harmless but slowly pile up. Like, he's so quiet. Or, does he always? Just agree with everything. But that night one of them leaned back, smirking at Maya, and said it openly. You're honestly carrying this whole relationship. No offense, but he's kind of dead weight, isn't he? And I remember the way a couple of them laughed like it was a normal thing to say about a person sitting right there. And I remember even more clearly how Maya shifted beside me, how I turned to her expecting something. Just a word, a glance, anything that said I mattered to her more than their approval. But she only gave an awkward smile and stayed silent. And that silence hit harder than the insult itself because it told me everything I didn't want to accept. And instead of arguing like I normally would have, instead of defending myself or listing everything I had done for all of them quietly over time, the trips I planned, the late-night rides I arranged, the broken laptops I fixed, the hangouts I made possible so no one felt left out, I just nodded slowly and said, yeah, and the table went quiet like they couldn't decide if I was serious, so I added calmly, almost surprising myself, you're right, I've been carrying things I shouldn't have been carrying. And Maya immediately turned to me confused, asking what I meant. But I didn't explain because something had already shifted inside me, something steady and detached, like I was finally seeing everything clearly without emotion clouding it. So I stood up, placed my share of the bill on the table, more than enough, and said quietly, I think I should stop being dead weight. And then I looked at Maya and added, you'll understand soon. And I walked out while I heard her call my name once behind me. But I didn't turn around because for the first time I wasn't trying to be understood anymore. And the strange part was I didn't feel angry. I just felt done. And over the next few days nothing dramatic happened at first. Maya texted me asking if I was seriously upset over a joke. As if years of effort could be reduced to that, but I didn't reply, and then slowly reality started doing what it always does, revealing everything people ignore when things are convenient. Because the trip they had planned suddenly fell apart, bookings disappeared, drivers stopped responding, prices doubled, arguments started between her friends, and Maya called me asking for help without even sounding confident anymore, saying she couldn't find confirmations. And I just said, oh, because I knew exactly what had happened. I had planned that entire trip quietly for them and then canceled everything the night after that dinner. Not out of revenge in the dramatic sense, but out of clarity, like I was removing myself from a role I was only valued for when it made their lives easier. And when she asked if I could fix it, I told her calmly, I thought someone else could handle it. And there was silence on the line because she finally understood what had been invisible to her before, that I had been the structure holding everything together. And over the next week I became something absent in their lives, and absence has a way of speaking louder than presence ever did. And then Maya showed up at my door one evening, no friends, no attitude, just uncertainty in her face, saying she didn't mean it like that it was just a joke, but I asked her quietly, a joke to who? And when she said it was just one comment, I gently told her it wasn't one comment. It was the first time everyone said what they already believed, and I saw something shift in her expression because she finally realized I wasn't reacting emotionally. I was responding honestly, and when she asked what happens now, I told her simply that now she doesn't have dead weight in her life. Now she carries things herself, and she stood there hoping I would soften, hoping I would go back to being what I used to be, but I didn't, because something had changed in me that night at the table. Not bitterness, not anger, just acceptance that I didn't need to keep proving my worth to people who only noticed me when I stopped helping. And after she left, life didn't become dramatic or empty, it just became quieter, and strangely lighter, and I started realizing how much energy I had spent being invisible support for people who saw me as optional. And weeks later one of her friends messaged me saying I didn't have to take it so seriously. And I didn't even respond because I finally understood something simple and permanent. People don't notice what holds everything together until it stops holding them. And I wasn't angry anymore, just no longer available to be misunderstood as convenience instead of care. And as I sat alone that night I thought back to that dinner, the laughter, the silence from the person who mattered most, and I realized the moment I agreed I was dead weight wasn't my downfall. It was the moment I stopped carrying people who were too comfortable letting me go. And for the first time in a long time I felt completely steady standing on my own.